Hey, I want to talk about this. We were doing our ballot fill out. He got sent this as he went to SEC Media Days there in Atlanta, Georgia. He came back last night. We are finishing off SEC Media Days right now. Kentucky and Mark Stoops just were on the podium, and going to be an underwhelming season for them. I can promise you that. Texas A&M, though, maybe not the case for them. They come on to the podium here with Mike Elko.
Hey, play the right music.
Play the right
hit him
music.
with the horns.
Got to hit him with the horns music, right? You got
eye for an eye.
Makes
the
eye.
SEC go blind.
I agree. That's how you're supposed to do it there for sure. But do you think Texas A&M has a shot, Sawyer, to be one of these teams that could be in the playoffs or fighting for a top SEC spot? Listen, they went 8-4 last year, year one under Mike Elko. It wasn't a bad team, but they had to figure out their quarterback situation, who was going to be the guy there. It did not end up being Wegman. Wegman is now going for he's the quarterback for the Houston Cougars, as we see Marcel Reed takes over officially this year, as he did last year when they played Texas. He was the quarterback. They didn't score a lot, but the defense was very good. That's what you get with Mike Elko, good defense. And the O-line's going to be really good too. Curious to see what happens here with Le'Veon Moss. I know he just got into some trouble on Sunday, but I don't think it's too major. I think he should still be on the field. I don't want to promise anything, but that is one of my top running backs when it comes to all these SEC tier ballot that we'll do. We did the quarterbacks today. We did 3 quarterbacks that we believe will be first team, second team, third team, essentially.
Okay.
We did 6 running backs in total. We'll just keep it to our top guys. We don't need to do everything specifically. And the wide receivers. So let's touch on those. When it comes to quarterbacks in the SEC,
yes,
who do you feel the most confident about? Who do you think could be first team SEC? That you had to pick one at the end of the season.
I'll do it. I'll pull trigger because it's a guy that's going to be in the college football playoff, and it's the fact that he is the highest ceiling of all these players and the best team around them. It is going to be Arch Manning.
Arch Manning at 1. Okay, I like this take. Now, I got him in my top 3. I don't know if he needs to be 1. I think this guy does for this team to be where they want to be. I'm going to go Garrett Nussmeier. He's proven, LSU. I mean, they had a great year last year. It's just the team around him, specifically the secondary, was not good, did not help him out. But I do believe LSU will be a close to playoff team, if not right on the cusp. They got a tough first game. They got to go to Clemson. I'm going to believe in Garrett Nussmeier. Not a hot take. Yours is a little bit hotter take. I like it. I'm totally with you. I actually have Arch here at my 2. So I'll go Arch Manning. I'll tell you that right now. I think at the end of the year, I don't know if Arch needs to be the number 1 quarterback for this team.
No, I'm not saying that he needs to be. I'm just saying that when you look at the intangibles and what the ceiling is for him,
for sure,
it is so incredibly high. And I think that he has the highest floor, even out of all these guys. And so I'm just saying,
Garrett Nussmeier maybe technically a higher floor because we've seen what he can do already.
The only thing that holds back Garrett Nussmeier is that head coach and Brian Kelly.
Sure.
And that's the other advantage I give to Arch. Sark is a better coach than Brian Kelly. I think that there are better offensive weapons that Arch has been working with longer than what's going on at LSU.
Yeah.
And it's a better overall team. And if you're your first team, if you are 10-2 as opposed to 8-4.
Right.
And I think that's the 2 records that we're looking at.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll see a team that's going to have 12 wins in the SEC this year, period. I think maybe Texas or maybe a Georgia or an Alabama could have 11, but I think that's going to be really tough the way these schedules are set. When Texas doesn't have the toughest SEC schedule, I still think it's tough when you got to go to Florida and you got to go to Georgia. You still obviously play A&M. Arkansas is always a feisty team. You're getting those 2 at home, but you start off the season at Ohio State.
Yeah.
So aside from SEC play, it's going to be really tough for any of these teams to be 12-0. I'll go Garrett Nussmeier at my 1. I will go Arch Manning at 2. The reason for that is what you said. I think the ceiling is super high for Arch. The fact that he's had 2 years to develop on campus and get in rhythm and in sync with these guys that have been there. Ryan Wingo, obviously year 2 for him. He broke out as one of the stars of the wide receiver room as a true freshman 5-star. I also think DeAndre Moore is going to be huge for them. You bring in Emmerich from Stanford. Your quarterback is going to have guys he's used to playing around, a couple transfers, like I said, and one of those being a tight end, Jack Endries, as Gunnar Helm does go to Tennessee to the Titans in the 3rd round, had a hell of a year.
Leading receiver.
He was 4th round, I believe, actually, but had a hell of a year for the Longhorns. I think Jack Endries from Cal will plug right away in, and he's actually one of the top tight ends. We didn't go into tight ends yet, but I think him, that Eli Stowers kid from Vanderbilt's very talented with Diego Pavia over there. That's some of the top guys for sure, but I do think Jack Endries will be huge for Arch Manning. But again, your run game, which we'll get into the running backs here, you're going to bring Trey Weiser back, right? Year of starting as a sophomore. Now he's a junior. Had over 1,000 yards. He's the returning rusher for all SEC running backs. So that speaks volumes there. And let's not forget C.J. Baxter, what he's supposed to be and what he was supposed to be last year before he got injured. Those two there. Jarrett Gibson's going to be very talented. I'm excited to see what Clark brings. There's a lot of weapons. Yes, the O-line's a question for Arch Manning, I would say. But these guys, they're not just Joe Schmoes off the street.
No.
They've been in the program for a few years now, and a lot of these guys have starts when needed. The Trevor Goosebys of the world. So, yeah, they lost a lot in the draft on the O-line, but I like what they replenish with. They're not freshmen just coming in asking to fill a hole right away.
No.
Who is your third quarterback?
Okay, so yeah, I'll take Nuss at 2.
Okay, Nuss, is that 2? Yeah, sorry, Nuss at 2.
It's going to be a first-round pick.
He had a hell of a year last year, and I think his wide receiver room only got better. So,
I'll take another take. I feel like Lenore Sellers is right there on the table, but I will pick DJ Lagway out of Florida.
Out of Florida. I like this. DJ Lagway, good pick.
I think that he takes a large step forward because he was not expected to really be the guy last year at Florida. And I remember we were banging the drum at the beginning of the year saying, hey, look how bad the situation is at Florida. If they don't want to be just a complete basement dweller, they need to win this first game against Miami, and it didn't happen, and we wrote them off immediately, and they wound up having a decent year, and Lagway got a lot more playing time than you would have expected, so I think that there is a little continuity there. We thought that what Florida State was last year is what Florida would be, and it was completely the opposite.
That's a good way to put it. Graham Mertz was there, and now he's
a Houston Texan.
There you go, he is. I was saying he got drafted late, but a Houston Texan, and now it's DJ Lagway's team. He's gained a lot of muscle, you can tell that. I mean, the guy's massive, 5-star quarterback, Willis, Texas, native here, a Texan. I think he will have a good year. It's tough schedule, though.
Yeah,
tough schedule.
And that's why I think that we put some respect on his name.
Eugene Wilson's a really talented receiver for them. He could make the list here. We brought his name up earlier for the ballot of being a solid receiver. I like what they bring. I like the fact that Billy Napier's coming back, and they're all behind. They're backing their guy, which is Billy Napier. Now, winning 8 games, they won 7 last year. Winning 8 games with this schedule is going to be tough, right? You start off the season, you got South Florida, I believe, a smaller school. I think it's Long Island, actually. Long Island. And then you got to go play at Miami against Carson Beck and the U there. And you got to go play at Death Valley. You get a bye week, and then you play Texas. I mean, the list goes on. Obviously, Georgia and the biggest cocktail party is going to be on the schedule as well. I believe Tennessee. So they got tough matchups, but I like the DJ Lagway call. I'll go Lenore Sellers at my 3. I'll give you a couple that I do think need to be mentioned. We haven't seen him play, but I have faith in Alabama. I think Ty Simpson, the fact he's been there. I know there's speculation that,
he's got the best wide receiver in the SEC.
Yeah, there's that. Ryan Williams you're referring to, right? Exactly. And I think Ty Simpson kind of has getting the Arch Manning treatment of he's been there, he's been able to develop a little bit under Milroe. I like what he has. He's an older guy that's now starting, who's been in the program for a little bit. And you're right, he has Ryan Williams there. He has a lot of good. Bernard, who's a really good wide receiver for Alabama. I think year 2 for DeBoer.
And he's an incredible coach for quarterbacks.
Right, exactly. I think year 2 for DeBoer is going to be much different than year 1. They went 9-3. I don't think you're going to see a game like Vanderbilt. They're going to button everything up. Again, I've mentioned it numerous times. I think it's so impressive that not one player hit the transfer portal and left Alabama during the spring transfer portal season.
So they're bought in.
That had that happen in the SEC. So they are bought in completely. And you have Ryan Williams year 2, who's stuck around, gained some weight. He's only 18 years old. He was 17 when he was making those fantastic catches all year last year. So yeah, I'll go Ty Simpson, but really if I'm putting 3, I'll go Lenore Sellers. I think he has to be a lot for South Carolina. They did lose a decent amount to the draft. Tough schedule again, but his
the back half of their schedule.
You could debate he has the highest ceiling. Him and Arch Manning, I think, are the highest ceiling guys in this conference, in the SEC.
Multiple intangibles.
John Mateer, really like what he does. Oklahoma, big question marks on offense. You bring in the offensive coordinator and your quarterback coach from Wazoo to come to Norman. Deion Burks needs to have a huge year for the Sooners. They do bring in Jaden Ott. That's going to open up the offense for them. If he can be a receiving back. Yeah, he's talented. And he's actually one of my top running backs. Actually, he is my top running back in the SEC, like number 1. I have as we go to the running backs here. I like Trey Wisner as a running back, Sawyer.
Yes.
I really like Le'Veon Moss.
RB1 currently at Texas.
Yeah, RB1 for Texas. Now we will see, I think, him. And then once October hits and the rust is kind of shaken off a little bit of C.J. Baxter coming off injury, got injured last August. I think he's going to be, that 1-2 punch is going to be lethal. I mentioned this too. I think having that 1-2 punch in college football and in the NFL in general, unless you have a Saquon Barkley, or I guess a Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey when healthy. My point is, having a 1-2 punch has been so huge for a lot of these teams. Ohio State, who were their running backs last year? Judkins. They also had Henderson, who'd been there for a while. Let's talk about the Michigan team. They had Blake Corum, but they also had Donovan Edwards who had stretches where he was really good. I mean,
you need the 1-2,
right?
And I think that's what really helps Texas.
I think Houston Texans did, trying to go get Nick Chubb. That could be a serious RB2 if he's healthy.
Stop running Joe Mixon into the 33s.
Right, exactly, with Joe Mixon. And, I look at the Lions there, right? Jameer Gibbs and obviously Montgomery. So I think it's by committee, and I think a lot of these combinations for Texas specifically with Trey Wisner and C.J. Baxter will be great. I do think just the fact this guy had 1,300 yards. Jay Knott's my running back 1. Nate Frazier for Georgia is going to be very, very good.
Yeah, let's not sleep on Florida. Jaden Baugh, who averaged 75 yards a game last season and wasn't expected to be the dude.
Yeah, Kane Durham, LSU's going to have to run the football more. There's no question about it in my eyes. Jam Miller, also from Alabama, their run game. Both those teams, Georgia, LSU, all three of those teams. You can mix Texas in the mix here. I think Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Texas all need to run the football better if they want to win a national title, right? I mean, SEC team hasn't won a couple years now. What were Ohio State and Michigan good at? Running the football. And they did a good job of that against Texas. Let's just call it how it is when they played each other in that semifinals bowl game. When it comes to those positions, I think running back, you got to also mention, I know people aren't really watching what's going on in Columbia, Missouri as much, but like a kid like Hardy with that offense there, Kellen Moore's brother, Kirby Moore's the offensive coordinator of Missouri. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Kirby Moore is taking over as offensive coordinator. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so Vanderbilt's running back.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander.
Yeah.
The LBJ grad.
Yeah.
He's the
Austin
all-time leading rusher.
It's worth mentioning.
AISD.
It is worth definitely mentioning. He's a really good running back for them. Can they be a 7-8 win team? They were 6 wins last year, which is a huge mark for Vanderbilt.
Take a step forward and not just be spoiler.
Right, exactly. Be more than just a spoiler. I agree. And Texas has to see them at home. That is a game that's not the easiest on your schedule. It isn't Mississippi State. I know you go the road for Kentucky and Mississippi State, but I would watch out more for Vanderbilt, as they do have some good players. As I mentioned, Eli Stowers is one of the better tight ends in college football, and he will be a tight end there. But yeah, I like your Lagway pick going back to the quarterbacks. I think John Mateer is going to be really good for Oklahoma, but Oklahoma is just under so much pressure right now. We heard it with Aaron Hogan. He was talking to the guys over there that cover all things in Norman. 8-4 is the starting point. That is the starting point for the job to be kept for Mr. Brent Venables. That's what they believe there. Now, is that the case? Listen, your AD's leaving. This is his last year. You bring in Jim Nagy as the GM, and he has not been brought in by Brent Venables. This is higher up than him. Jim Nagy was formerly a scout for years, and then obviously ran the Reese's Senior Bowl. He now is the GM for the Oklahoma Sooners, who was there in attendance at the senior day. I am curious to go back to quarterbacks, Sawyer, and I'll ask you this with A&M. Can Marcel Reed take it to the next level?
If they buy in and don't play the will they, won't they, I know some of that was a little gamesmanship because they played different styles of quarterback last year with Wegman and him. If they're just like, hey, regardless of result, this is your team, you're the guy, we're using you, then yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, obviously put some muscle on. The guy's kind of, he's mobile, but he's kind of slim. Let's get some muscle. That's a lot of guys do, all these training programs that they're doing in the offseason with the strength and conditioning coordinators. They usually do put on some weight, like Ryan Williams is doing at Alabama, had to. At the age of 17, you're just not fully developed when it comes to what you can be in a few years. So, yeah, I think he could be a good quarterback. I'm interested to ask you this, though. When it comes to that next team, right, I think if we tear it off, Texas competed in the SEC championship there in the playoffs. They were also the Big 12 winners before coming into the SEC. Georgia obviously got the titles. They won the SEC last year. And Alabama, I think we all anticipate them to have at least a year similar to last year, or not, if not better. It'd be a shock if it was worse. Who is that next team? Is it LSU to you that can make the playoffs? Is it A&M? Is it South Carolina?
It's South Carolina.
Okay.
I mean, they have such a slog there at the end of the season. But most of the tough games that they're going to face are going to be at home. But you're looking, first off, the big hump, I think, to kind of be the coin flip here is going to be October 11th when they are traveling to LSU. It's going to be very tough. And then after that, that's when this is just gauntlet. Host Oklahoma. Who knows what? I think that's going to be a tough test for Mateer.
Yeah.
Look at how that game went last year. Then they host Alabama right after that. They have to go to Ole Miss, and then they go to Texas A&M. And then guess what? There's a chance you're playing the ACC champion in the year.
Most likely you are.
If they are that team, they will have earned being that
For
team.
sure.
Is my
Yeah, 9-3 South Carolina. That's possibly a playoff team, right? We saw 9-3 Tennessee do it last year. I think if you're 9-3 with that schedule, I'm with you. The way that we see it shaken out.
That's one of the times where you can start being like strength of schedule.
Right.
Look, they went to Alabama.
I wonder what Lane Kiffin, it's a team that's under the radar right now, what he's going to be with Austin Simmons and that roster, because they're still really good players. Caden Lee is one of those players that's a wide receiver for them, and their offense is always dynamic, and they play a lot of the good teams. I believe they have to go to Georgia.
I just don't trust them to not stub their toe. If we could do anything to help Lane Kiffin out, it's get him some house shoes with little lights on them, so that he's not banging his pinky toe on the end table there.
Totally fair. So wonder what Ole Miss can be, because they were the team that was supposed to make it.
Yep.
But they stubbed their toe, as you mentioned, on Kentucky at home. Can't have that again. All right, hey, when we come back, we'll do a little home stretch. Good SEC talk. Sam Pittman is walking in right now. There you go. Woo Pig Suey. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a guy whose seat probably should be hot. I don't know if
go
it
be
is.
an offensive line coach somewhere, Sam.
Yeah,
Do the right thing.
Sam Pittman enjoying his brewskis in the offseason. We know that. And the Pigs coming to Austin later on. When we come back, we'll do a little home stretch. Good stuff there. SEC talk as we finish up SEC Media Days there in Atlanta, Georgia. We are here. Overtime Hour. Noah, Sawyer, and Isaac.